Alright folks, figured since I had to do this anyway, I'd go ahead and show you how to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as a lower quality video. I think it's 460p or something like that, because it's really not teaching you anything, you know, that's really needs to be learned up here. I've got to do this anyway, so I figured I'd show you guys how I do it, and I'll tell you where I got the method from, okay? And that is tuning a Floyd-Rose guitar. First of all, I learned, and I'll show you, like I said, I'll let you know where I got this from after I show you how to do it. Floyd-Rose guitar can be very, very finicky. And I'm glad I've got one, but I don't know if I'll ever have maybe another one, unless it's, you know, I don't know, easier to tune or something like that down the road. But I love this Ibanez RG4EX1, and I thought, well, I've got to tune this anyway, and I'll show you why it is that sometimes I just let it stay out of tune, so that I don't have to fool with doing it. So think twice before you get a Floyd-Rose guitar. Yes, it's fun to do the whammy bar stuff, but think twice before you get one, because it does require a bit more babysitting and babying to get the tuning right. So I'm going through my Digitech RP 355, and there's a tuner built into that. The first thing you want to do is reset all of your what are these things called? Fine tuners. Reset all of these to where they are pretty much halfway between, I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're pretty much halfway between all the way down and all the way up. Okay, now this is tuning it from, you know, when you first put the strings on or anything like that. This is just tuning it when you get it up and you put it in your hands and you want to start playing. It's out of tune. Here's how you tune it. Okay, so just reset all this stuff to where it's about halfway between up and down. And because this is a rounded bridge, you're going to see that they're not all the way level. It kind of rounds. I kind of leave these to where these are rounded with the actual bridge here. So I can see these two are about up all the way, and this one's, I kind of like, these two in the middle are going to be the highest. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And these two in the middle are going to be a little lower. But I try to get them, you know, kind of rounded a little bit. And then after that, because once you fine tune, you're going to have to go up and down a lot. But after that, you go ahead and loosen these. These are loose. I've did like a couple twists with my handy Stanley wrench. This Ibanez uses a 3 on this wrench, and I think these may be metric. I can't remember, but uses a 3. I think it is metric, because the other kind uses a different numbering system altogether. But you loosen this, and then you start beginning with your low E string, okay? So I'm going to start with my low E string. Make sure it's just a hair above right in tune, because as you tune the rest of these strings, this bridge is going to be compensating for that, and the strings are going to be going in and out of tune quite a bit, okay? So then all you do, that's why you want this to, the first string here, the low E string, to be a little sharp, because by the time the rest of them you tune those, this will come closer to being in tune, as that sharp flattens a little bit because of the compensation for these other strings. I hope I'm explaining that, you know, halfway decently. But anyway, here's how you do it. You start with your E, and you can use these tuners up here since this is loosened now. Okay, so use the tuners. We're going to start with the low E, and we're going to make sure that it's a hair above standard. So it's like maybe 1 notch or something like that on your tuner. We start with a low E. Here's the order: low E, then high E. Okay, because we want to balance this equally on both sides of the tremolo. If we started with low E and tune a guitar like we normally do an electric guitar, then they would never get in tune correctly, because you're balancing the thicker strings against thicker strings against thicker strings against thinner, you know. Whereas if you was to do it thick, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin, it more evenly balances the strings. Okay, so start with your low E, make sure it's just a little bit above standard. Then start with a high E and tune it to standard. The rest of these we're going to tune to standard, okay? A440. Then we're going to start back up with a low A. So we're going to be jumping around up here too, okay? Make sure this isn't standard. And you also want to be tuning the guitar upright. You don't want to be leaning back or anything like that, because I learned a while back when you're tuning guitar, gravity has an effect on it, okay? So you don't want to be tuning it back like this. You want to tune it as if you were playing it. So I play the guitar upright. You want to tune it upright because the gravity is going to be pulling on these strings. And you don't want it pulling the wrong way, okay? So now I'm on A. That's in tune. Let's do the B. We're going back from the A to the B. So we got an E, low E, high E, A, B. And then we're just going to go G and then D, because we're going to kind of offset it. We're doing thick, thin, thick, thin. And now we're going to do thin, thick to kind of offset it a little bit. So from B, you go straight to G. Okay, and then from G, you hit the last one, which is D. You may hear a buzzing, but all that is the nut up here. These locking nuts. Okay, so that's in tune, all right? So the order is low E, high E, A, B, G, and D. Okay, so when you get to the B, you're going to go back down, the rest of the way. Okay, so let's go back to our open E and see if it's gone from sharp to in tune. Okay, so it's a little below, it's a little flat, so I'm going to tune it back up to a little sharp again. And then do the same process all over again. And I'll do a little faster second time around. Now, if you have the problem where your strings are sharp already, then with the low E string, what you want to do is the opposite. You don't want to make it sharp because everything's already sharp. You want to make the low E string a little flatter than standard, and then everything else will kind of compensate that direction. So back to the low E. It's almost in tune, so I'm going to once again do it a little sharp. You have to do this several times, but you'll notice each time it's going to be closer and closer to getting in tune. Okay, so it's in tune now, but what we need to do is go ahead and tighten these babies down, okay? So we're going to tighten it down using our Allen wrench. Give it a good turn, and once it gets snug, I'd give it another good twist there to lock it down. Get a little twist there. And now we do the same thing, but now we ignore this, okay? Because you break your strings, because now these are obsolete. We're not using this. We are going to tune with our fine tuners. Doing the same process, okay? So we start with that low E because sometimes it can sharpen the string because it's actually pinching this right here. So you may even want to tune to a little flat because, you know, let's just see what happens when I do this. Okay, so things are a little out. So then we use the fine tuners to mess with that. So we're going to start with that low E. It's a little sharp, which is fine. Let's leave it sharp. That's in tune. That's a little flat, so we're going to use this fine tuner here. Give it a little bit more. Also make sure when you're tuning is you're not laying your wrist on the bridge, because that will force the string to go sharp, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your hand is floating while you're tuning. Back to that low E. Come down a little bit. Don't want to come down too much, because that'll cause the rest of them to be way out of tune. Okay, so I can hear by strumming this that that G and that high E is a little out. So it tells me right now the E is a little low. So let's get that E back up there. Now we're in tune. Okay, so that is how you tune a Floyd-Rose guitar. And we did that in, let's see, 12 minutes is the video, 12, almost 13 minutes, but I did a lot of talking. This right here can be done easy as, 3 or 4 minutes. Once you get the initial fine tuning down, then you can go fast up here and tune all these, lock it down, and then this takes a little more time down here, but then you're set. See, the reason we set these at halfway is because that way we have leeway to go either up or down. The next time you pick up your guitar, if it's not really out of tune, if you're not using a lot of whammy bar stuff, and it's not really out of tune, you could probably get away with going ahead and tuning with the fine tuners. Because I've not really adjusted these a lot, so I can still have a little bit more room. I've got a little bit more room on either side to go up or down. So, but I just generally just go ahead and unlock the nut and then go from there. Now, the person who originally learned how to use this and how to do this is the Tone King, and he's got tons of videos, over 1,000 I think, on YouTube. So you definitely want to check out the Tone King. Go to his website or his YouTube channel and learn and type it in his on how to tune a Floyd-Rose guitar. And I'll probably go ahead and leave a link to those below so that you will know exactly how to get to those. But so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and hope you know now how to not only tune a Floyd-Rose guitar, but also consider if you want a Floyd-Rose guitar, because it is a little bit more maintenance, especially when you're changing strings. I change them one at a time now, because that can really make the tuning mess up if you don't do that. I'm even very leery and skeptical of putting something under here to block the tremolo, so that I can change all the strings. I don't do that because I don't want to, it was a long setup when I originally got this guitar, and I don't have to go through that again. So that's how to do it, and I'm going to go ahead and get off here and say thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And there's a reflection of me. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat if you look in the body of the guitar here. That's pretty awesome. That may be the thumbnail. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. God bless.